Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today, we will be presenting on how to develop your resume.
In today's workshop, we'll be going over what a resume is and what a CV, which stands for a curriculum vitae, is. We'll be going over the similarities and differences, as well as diving into specifically what you can use a resume for and how to develop your resume. So in short, a resume is a short summary of personal and professional experiences and accomplishments. It is typically requested for a job application and for applied programs such as a master's in social work, marriage and family therapy degree. And it will be required if you're thinking about applying to internships as well as other volunteer opportunities that may come up. A curriculum vitae is, in simple, a course of one's life. It is a comprehensive biographical list, typically longer than a resume and requested for PhD programs. So as you continue your education, you will see the difference of how it is now being required for you to provide a CV. A CV will list the professional qualifications, skills, relevant research, and professional activities, as well as accomplishments that you've done over your lifetime.
So given all this information, why is it important? So your CV/resume is a powerful tool to have an interview with a job or graduate school. Ideally, this document is to get yourself invited so that you can then sell yourself to the interviewers. In this document, you are communicating what background and value you offer as to the employer, as well as it looks at a reflection of you as a potential graduate student or employee.
Now you may be wondering, how should I format my resume so that it's professional? So what you want to include in your resume is your name and contact information. You should also check your margins and spacing. Do not double space. You want to make sure that you provide as much information as possible without being overextensive in one page, and apply an appropriate font, preferably 12-point font. Include bullet points when describing your role/job and each experience you have had. And you can include also a few lines and phrases of your job, duties, or role. Make sure to include the dates of your experience, such as August 2018 through May 2019, and include categories and headings to make your resume more accessible to the person viewing it.
Here are some suggested resume sections that you can include. So first, you'll have your name and contact information. You can include your education, any type of experience, whether it's work, professional, research, volunteer, as well as any honors, awards, scholarships that you were awarded, as well as any additional skills you can provide to the employer or graduate school. A note we have is to remember to have your resume about 1 to 2 pages since they only look at it for a few seconds.
Moving on to the contact information section in your resume. So your contact information should be at a font of 16 to 18-point font so that the person viewing this resume knows specifically who they are looking at and where to contact them. You should include your address, phone number, and email. If you have a phone's voicemail message, make sure it's an appropriate greeting and that it's professional. So it's always important to go back and check those small details in case an employer contacts you and they happen to get your voicemail, they receive a professional greeting.
The education section. So this is where you'll list any schools that you have attended, starting with the highest degree first. This can also include study abroad schools. So what should you include? You should include the name of the school, the degree earned or seeking, whether a BS, a BA, major and minor, your expected graduation date, so you'll include the month and the year, and GPA if required, or if your GPA is above a 3.2. If you have completed the CADV honors program here at CSUN, you can include the title of your honors project here and note that you are also a CADV honors student. This would also apply for university honors as well.
Onto the experience section. So the experience section should include your job title, company name, location. You only have to list the city and the state, and the dates you did that experience. And lastly, include 3 to 5 bullet points that briefly describe your duties and skills from that experience and what you accomplished. It's important to note that you should use bullet points. We will be going over the importance of bullet points in a later slide, but using bullet points will clarify the specific roles that you had and that specific job title. You can include in paid or unpaid experience, internships, volunteer work, etc. You can also add any major projects you have been in, such as honors and awards, and any leadership experience you may have, such as being a club president, as well as captain of a sport. If you do not have a lot of experience, you can add any relevant coursework that you may have taken instead, such as a class that you felt you really excelled in. That could also be included in your resume.
Up next is honors and awards. So here you some examples that you can include are your CADV Honors Program, CADV Exceptional Senior Award, Outstanding Senior Award, scholarships that you may have been awarded, etc. If you received a specific training and got rewarded for that, you can also include that, as well as any certifications you receive, such as being a mandate reporter and any additional information like that.
Now, there's a section in your resume where you are asked to list your skills. A few skills that you can list that are not limited to are provided below. So we have lesson planning, classroom activity development, classroom management, public relations, parent communications, customer service, interpersonal skills, coaching skills, management skills, problem solving, time management, language skills, and assessments. Notice how these skills are specific to the job title or the opportunity that you're looking to apply to. That way, your employer or the person viewing this resume knows that you are being intentional in regards to applying to a certain position.
What not to include in a resume. So, some personal information you do not want to include is your citizenship status, your date of birth, or age. Another area that you do not want to include in your resume is pictures of yourself, even if it is professional. And do not add any references. They will typically ask you to provide references in a different document or if you receive an invitation to an interview.
Now on to re-emphasizing the difference between bullet points versus no bullet points. So below we have two examples. The first example is of a job opportunity or a job role that an individual had where they are listing the things that they were required to do or the things that they engaged in, but they are using a paragraph form. Whereas in the second example, bullet points are used. So for the first example, an employer would have to read through the whole paragraph to get a sense of what you did in that job. However, if you plan, however, they have limited time to do this, so they won't necessarily go through all of it. So because of this, they might miss certain things that you've done. Whereas if you're including bullet points, they have the opportunity to look for the specific things that they are looking to acquire and someone they are planning to hire. So through putting bullet points into your resume, they are able to quickly glance at it and see that you are the person they're looking for. You also want to mention what the problem was, what the solution was, and what the results were once you implemented the solution. And try to include statistics and the examples or the bullet points that you're highlighting about your job role.
Verbs. So another area of your resume is that you'll be using different types of verbs. We encourage you to definitely do your research to see what different verbs are. You don't want to keep using the same word over and over again. And here we just have a chart with some examples that you can use. So instead of using the word remembering, you can use words such as acquire, choose, collect, complete, so on and so forth. So make sure to do your research and see what different verbs you can incorporate into your resume.
Additionally, we have another list of verbs on this slide. They are labeled under specific categories, whether you're talking about knowledge, comprehension, application, analysis, synthesis, evaluation, as well as management, communication, research, technical, financial, creative, teaching, and helping. So these are verbs that you can really use to elevate your resume to sound more professional.
Up next, we have some helpful tips that can help you on your journey of creating a resume. So remember to combine your experiences with your job or school of interest. Apply the skills and their needs to make a connection with the interviewers. Remember to be specific. Do not assume they know what you mean. Use the job posting or school program description as a guide and reference to target your resume and making it stand out. Show them that you are the right fit for the job or school program. This also shows them that you did do your research when you were looking for a potential job opportunity or graduate school program. Read the job responsibilities or school qualification/skills and think about how your background or experiences match with the job/school. How and where have you applied those qualifications/skills to your past or current experiences? Use keywords from job descriptions and the school program's website.
Okay, and we've also provided you with a few resume templates that you can navigate through and explore and see which one fits your personality and your career goals the best. So we encourage you to look through Canva, which is a platform that allows you to have access to many templates and includes resumes. So you're more than welcome to go to Canva and search up resume samples so that you can possibly follow a similar design template that they have. You can also go to Resume Now, which offers great examples of what to include in a resume. Additionally, on the right-hand side, we have provided a sample of what a complete resume looks like. So we have the names in bold and the contact information in a specific area where the employer or person looking through this resume knows specifically where to contact you. We have headings, which divides every specific subject being covered, such as professional summary, skills, work history, and education. So this is a sample of what a complete resume would look like, and we encourage you to go to Canva and Resume Now to gain additional information about how to format your resume.
All right, everyone. So that concludes our presentation on how to develop your resume. Make sure to follow us to stay informed about advisement, workshops, and events. Make sure you're following us on Instagram at CADV_CSUN, as well as Facebook at CSUN Child Development Department. You can also email us at cadvpals@csun.edu, or you can also scan the QR code to book an appointment on Setmore, or you can just go onto our website, which is cadv.setmore.com. Thank you for joining us.